On Global TV News Express, Senate clears Oluyede as Chief of Defense Staff. In business, federal government secures 700 billion naira to deploy 1.1 million meters by December 2025. On foreign scene, United States removes Mali from list requiring visa bond. In sports, Elizabeth Anyanacho puts Nigerian back on global taekwondo podium after 20 years exit. Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Sadia Yakubu. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and StarTimes, channels 276. Welcome back, and now the news in details. The Senate has confirmed Chief of Defense Staff Designate General Olufemi Oluyede as it began the screening of the newly appointed service chiefs at the National Assembly complex in Abuja. Oluyede was confirmed barely an hour after he and other nominees arrived at the complex amid tight security. Welcoming the nominees to the chamber, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, described the screening as a constitutional duty aimed at ensuring that only the most competent and patriotic officers are entrusted with safeguarding the nation. The push to create a legislative security directorate in Nigeria's National Assembly is gaining momentum. State assemblies and parliamentary staff are backing the proposal, but some security agencies warn it could create conflicts in the system. National Assembly correspondent Anyete Patrick has details.
It was a day of mixed reactions at the National Assembly as lawmakers, security chiefs, and other stakeholders debated a new bill seeking to establish a special directorate to oversee parliamentary security. Chairman, House Committee on Internal Security, Garba Mohammed, says the bill aims to adopt global best practices in parliamentary security and safeguard the operations of the National Assembly.
Effective security management needs a total approach that requires various elements to be integrated together in order to secure our environment for legislative procedure to function effectively and maximally. That is why this bill is very important, because it seeks to address all the challenges as aforesaid and adopted world-based practices of parliamentary security procedures and architecture.
But not everyone is fully sold on the idea. Representing the Inspector General of Police, AIG Emmanuel Aino, warned that a separate directorate may duplicate existing rules. The Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps also raised caution, citing systems in countries like the United States and Canada where police played a primary role in parliamentary security. Yet state houses of assembly are lining up in support, calling the proposal timely and necessary.
At this very important point in time, we really need this piece of legislation to help and enforce, fortify, and improve our nascent democracy.
The Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria also declared its full support. On concerns over whether the new corps would bear arms, the National Assembly Sergeant-at-Arms says only trained officers would be permitted.
The Sergeant-at-Arms shall be involved in the recruitment process of all personnel of the Directorate in terms of training, sensitization, and induction, bearing in mind paramilitary nature of the duties expected of such personnel.
The committee is expected to review all submissions before presenting the bill for further legislative action as the debate continues on how best to secure Nigeria's parliament. From the National Assembly, Anieti Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
As preparations intensify ahead of the Anambra State governorship election, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has reaffirmed its readiness to conduct a free, fair, and credible poll. The Commission, in collaboration with the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security, says all necessary measures have been put in place to ensure a peaceful exercise. Our correspondent has the details.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, in partnership with the Office of the National Security Advisor, convened the regular quarterly meeting of the Interagency Consultative Committee on Election Security in Abuja as part of final preparations for the Anambra governorship election. Welcoming participant, INEC Chairman Professor Josh Amopita expressed appreciation to members of the security and intelligence community for their continued collaboration, describing the meeting as a crucial step in ensuring a safe and credible electoral process.
As we are all aware, the Anambra election is scheduled for Saturday, 8th day of November 2025. Just 11 days away. Following a week-long comprehensive readiness assessment conducted across the states, the Commission is confident in affirming its full preparedness for the polls.
The election just 11 days away, Professor Amopita announced that INEC has completed a comprehensive readiness assessment across Anambra State, expressing confidence that the Commission is fully prepared for the November 8th poll. The INEC chairman commended the efforts of security agencies in creating a safe environment, emphasizing that credible elections are only possible where security is granted. Representative of the Police, Department for State Security, and the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the military assured of robust deployment and coordinated patrols before, during, and after the election, pledging to maintain law and order across all polling areas. Representing the National Security Advisor, Nuri Bado, Director of Internal Security, Hassan Yahya Abdullahi, highlighted the extensive security arrangements put in place to deter violence and ensure a smooth process.
Any form of violence during the elections will be met with strong, uncompromising response. Nigerian Police, the lead agency for election security, along with other security agencies, stands prepared and resolute to maintain a secure environment during the Anambra State governorship election. We call upon all citizens to collaborate and commit to a peaceful electoral process.
The Nigerian Police Force, as the lead agency for election security, reaffirmed its readiness to safeguard voters and election officials, urging citizens to conduct themselves peacefully and uphold democratic values throughout the process. Sadia Yakubu, reporting for Global Television.
Nigeria and the European Union have resolved to strengthen diplomatic relations and to chart a new chapter in interstate and interparliamentary relations. Ramsey Enoch Abu reports.
Nigeria has become the 77th shareholder of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development, EBRD, as part of efforts to deepen its long-standing partnership with the European Union, EU. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, Yusuf Tuga, announced this during a meeting with a visiting delegation from the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee in Abuja.
We have a lot of lessons to learn from the European Union, that incidentally also is still talking about how to integrate more. So it gives us hope, and it is clearly a model that we seek to emulate. And we are rest assured here to do whatever is necessary to strengthen those ties, the existing ties, and to continue to work and collaborate with the European Union.
Speaking on behalf of the delegation, David McAllister, a member of the European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee, said the 6-member team was visiting Nigeria to better understand developments in Africa, particularly in West Africa, as he described Nigeria as a strategic partner and a major political and economic power in the region.
Nigeria is considered as a strategic partner for the European Union. We have a long-lasting, good and close relationship based on shared values and also on joint interests. The European Parliament's Foreign Affairs Committee travels with smaller delegations a few times a year to other parts of the world, and we mainly travel to get to know better the countries, to understand better the challenges these countries are facing, also the opportunities these countries have, and we are also there to very carefully listen.
This visit was a reflection of Europe's recognition of Nigeria's central role in Africa's future. Ramsey Enoch Agbo reporting for Global TV News.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, says Abuja's smart city vision is transforming the nation's capital into a model of innovation, sustainability, and citizen-centered development. The minister made this known at the 2025 Asia City Summit and Mayors Forum in Dubai. Kabir Hassan has details.
The FCT minister joined global mayors and city leaders to share Abuja progress toward becoming the world-class smart city. He said the administration's smart city vision is anchored on 5 key pillars: urban mobility, sustainability, public safety, and digital governance, and economic empowerment, all designed to enhance infrastructure and improve service delivery to residents.
Smart city should be a city that responds to the needs of its citizens, which is an efficient. Abuja's smart city vision is anchored, 1, on urban mobility in terms of providing national transportation network and try to reduce traffic congestion. It also has to be dependent on sustainable urban development.
The minister highlighted partnership with international agencies, including JICA on smart water metering and Chinese support for intelligence traffic lights, alongside ongoing projects like the Abuja City Walk and Abuja Industrial Park. He said under President Bola Tinubu renewed hope agenda, the FCT is expanding transport networks, promoting renewable energy, deploying CCTV surveillance, and creating digital governance platforms such as FCT call center and digitized land registry.
The federal government realizes that it is an important approach, and therefore to achieve this, we have what we call National Employment Database that makes us to profile and note the number of youths that are unemployed and underemployed.
Wike also revealed plans for nation employment database to connect young people to job opportunities through the Abuja Enterprise Agency, describing it as a vital step toward empowering the city youths and driving innovation. The FCT minister was accompanied by senior officials of the FCTA as Abuja positioned itself as a leading example of smart and sustainable urban growth in Africa. Kabir Hassan reporting for Global TV News.
The Tertiary Education Trust Fund has commissioned a new Faculty of Social Sciences lecture theatre and office complex at the Nasarawa State University, KEFI, affirming its commitment to improving infrastructure and academic standards in Nigerian tertiary institutions. Jumai Manson reports.
The commissioning ceremony held at the university's main campus in Kefi, dignitaries, university officials, and TED Fund representatives to celebrate the completion of the 2020-2021 Merge Annual Intervention Project, a 717 million naira facility designed to enhance teaching, learning, and research. Right Honorable Aminu Masari described the project as proof of TED Fund's transparency and impact in higher education. He commended the university's management led by Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman for ensuring the judicious use of the intervention funds.
This project stands as yet another visible testimony of our collective commitment to strengthening Nigeria's higher education through Nigerian higher education system in line with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR.
Representing the Executive Secretary, Architect Babatunde Olajide said the timely completion of the project reflects strong collaboration between TED Fund, the university, and the state government. He affirmed the fund's commitment to continued support for quality infrastructure and innovation-driven learning nationwide.
On behalf of the Board of Trustees, management and staff of TED Fund, I wish to commend the leadership of the university for their dedication and prudent utilization of intervention funds granted by TED Fund. The timely completion of any project is indeed an accomplishment that is worth applauding.
Vice-Chancellor Professor Saadatu Hassan Liman appreciated TED Fund's transformative interventions, noting that positive impact on teaching, research, and students' access to quality education.
Bearing in mind we have 4 campuses, that means that at the end of the day, Nasarawa State University Kefi will be paying more than almost up to 55 million every month for the power they are consuming in their university. And therefore we are calling on TED Fund and passionately requesting to also pay attention to the issue of power supply in higher institutions of learning in Nigeria.
Jumai Manson reporting for Global Television.
National Association of Unemployed Nigerians Living with Disabilities has called on the government to provide employment opportunities to members. Unemployment remains a pressing issue in Nigeria, and persons living with disability are urging greater support. Ubon Usoro reports.
Speaking in Abuja, the association said that despite having skills and qualifications, many of its members continue to face barriers in securing employment due to discrimination and lack of accessibility in workplaces. They called on both the federal and state governments to implement inclusive policies, ensuring that persons with disabilities can contribute meaningfully to the nation's workforce. The association also urged private organizations to open their doors to persons with disabilities, noting that inclusion is not just a moral obligation, but a step towards national development. Ubon Usoro for Global TV.
You're watching the live broadcast of News Express. When News Express returns, United States removes Mali from list requiring visa bond. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from that short break. In business, the federal government has secured about 700 billion naira from the Federation Account Allocation Committee to finance the deployment of 1.1 million electricity meters across Nigeria by December 2025. Minister of Power Adebayo Adelabu announced this in Lagos at the 2025 Nigerian Energy Forum themed Powering Nigeria Through Investment, Innovation and Partnership. Adelabu said the initiative is part of the Presidential Metering Initiative, a comprehensive plan to close Nigeria's metering gap, strengthen revenue assurance, and promote transparency in electricity supply chain. Senate committee has commended President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the president of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, and the key anti-graft and financial institutions for their coordinated effort that led to the removal of Nigerian from the Financial Action Task Force grey list. The commendation followed a motion of urgent national importance sponsored by Senator Emmanuel Udende, APC Benue Northwest. And on the foreign scene, the ongoing visa policy controversy between the United States and Mali has seen a recent development that could signal a escalation in their diplomatic standoff. Our correspondent Edika Michael examines the situation.
The disputes began in early October when the United States announced a new visa bond pilot program requiring citizens of various countries to post bonds of up to $10,000 when applying for tourist or business visas. Mali was promptly included on this list, with the new policy slated for implementation on October 23, 2025. In response, Mali enacted a retaliatory measure adopting an identical visa bond policy for United States citizens. However, on October 23rd, the United States government published a revised list of countries whose citizens are required to post visa bonds, and notably, Mali was no longer included. This change indicates a relaxation of the United States visa policy stance towards Mali amid ongoing diplomatic negotiations. Reacting to the development, Hein Dunkham, senior lecturer at Eastside University, urged the United States to review and possibly modify the policy to prevent it from disproportionately affecting certain nationalities.
I think actually this is very concerning, because obviously after the tariffs that have been imposed by Donald Trump, we are entering a new phase now where these restrictions could enter the U.S. and other countries into what we describe as immigration or visas as well, war, which can as well lead to restrictions on American citizens entering these countries. So I think this is really concerning.
Washington has used visa policies as a means of political pressure on several African nations in the past couple of months. But this recent decision is seen as a positive step towards improving the bilateral relations, potentially easing travel restrictions and promoting increased cooperation. But nations have yet to make official statement on the matter, but analysts suggest that this move could pave the way for further diplomatic and economic engagement. Edikan Michael reporting for Global TV News.
Amid the parliamentary capture of El Fasher, Sudan's oldest capital and Darfur's historic heart, the town of Tawila is now said to be overpopulated after absorbing over 500,000 displaced people, among which are many unaccompanied minors suffering from severe malnutrition. Sudan Chief of the United Nations International Organization for Migration, Mohammed Rifat, has warned of ethical motivated violations and ethical motivated violations, while the African Union condemned escalating violence and alleged war crimes. Uyi Agbomofuegbe tells us more.
Fears have mounted in Sudan 3 days after paramilitaries seized the key city of El Fasher amid reports of mass atrocities and the killing of 5 Red Crescent volunteers in Kordofan. The numbers do not look good in terms of the devastating impact of the crisis on Sudan's civilian population.
We have seen in Tawila many unaccompanied minors. Many of them are suffering from severe malnutrition, maybe around 70% of them. Still the numbers to be verified by professional health workers. But also this is a strong reminder that those who are paying the heaviest cost of this conflict are children and women.
However, the situation is evidently worsening, with humanitarian workers feeling the brunt and displacement figures soaring fast.
On Zamzam camp, there was dozens of humanitarian workers who were killed, including more than 10 of them who were killed were working in one clinic for one of the international NGO. It's quite heavy, because many of those who are leaving Al Fasher are leaving on their own foot, walking. Some of them are walking for 2 days, some of them for 10 hours. And most of them are women and children that are arriving until now.
The United Nations says more than 26,000 have fled El Fasher in just 2 days, most on foot towards Tawila, 70 kilometers west. Uyi Agbomofwegbe reporting for Global TV News.
In sport, the House of Representatives resumed legislative business for a new week with Speaker Tajuddin Abbas chairing plenary, where national accountability and infrastructure needs to center stage. A major item of debate focused on Nigerian football governance as lawmakers raised concern over alleged misappropriation of FIFA and CAF development funds by the Nigerian Football Federation. Here is National Assembly correspondent Anete Patrick reports.
The Chamber resolved its Committee on Sports should launch a full-scale investigation into NFF's accounts and activities from 2015 till date. The probe came under a matter of urgent public importance by Adeshola Adedayo, and it will compel both past and current leaders of the Federation to explain how funds intended to grow the game were applied.
For this purpose, a special committee should be set up to find out what are the problems with NFF and other bodies that are associated with running to football in this nation.
The Chamber advanced 2 key financial reform bills. The first 6 amendments to the Proceeds of Crime, Recovery and Management Act to strengthen transparency and accountability in recovered assets. The second proposes the establishment of a Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission to guide innovation and protect consumers in the rapidly expanding digital finance sector.
If a thorough reform should be made on the anti-corruption sector, you must equally adjust and amend the Proceeds of Crime, Recovery and Management Act, as well as the Money Laundering Act.
The objective of this bill, Nigerian FinTech Regulatory Commission Bill, is to aim to provide clear regulatory framework for a fintech industry, ensure that operators comply with the established standard and guidelines.
Attention later shifts to Delta State, where the House adopted a motion calling on the federal government to connect Ode Shekiri in Warri, South local government area to the national electricity grid. Lawmakers stressed that the community had endured years of blackouts despite its proximity to oil and gas infrastructure.
Also concerned that Ode Shekiri is not connected to the national electricity grid and have the only electricity supply, a situation that has hampered economic activities and by extension the general development of the area.
Plenary was adjourned as lawmakers are expected to continue deliberations on legislation with far-reaching national impact. From the National Assembly, Anete Patrick reporting for Global TV News.
That's it on Global TV News Express. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV, channel 365 and StarTimes, channels 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms. Now showing on your screen using that Global TV NG. I am Sadia Yakubu saying thank you for watching.